No, Red Eye, you cannot suck this dude's penis. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Morning Wood. And we're joined today by the beautiful, luscious Fat Pat.
Mm. I enjoy being on your morning wood.
I'm glad you
Nice.
jumped on it. It's not a big ride, but it's a ride.
Well, morning wood is always pointing me in the right direction, so I'm for it.
Anyway, I read. Red's here too. Nobody cares.
Good morning / evening, depending on what part of the planet you're on.
Yeah. So we start out with a low audience because YouTube doesn't like to notify people, and it usually gets a little bigger than this. I hope it does anyway. But today we're going to be talking about something, and then we'll talk a lot about it too because we're professionals. We're going to talk about some 911 calls here in a little bit. But you know how the Morning Wood is. We shoot a lot of shit, and then we try to do the topic. But I just want to say this first. I actually met Fat Pat here for the first time at VidCon, and him and Fane, awesome dudes. And I'm going to tell you something. These some drinking motherfuckers right here. They can out-drink anybody, I do believe.
That wasn't our goal. That's the other thing. We don't like. We always people say, "Oh, when I meet you, I'm going to drink you on the table." I'm like, well, first off, don't try.
Yeah.
Because you probably won't. But even if you are, don't drink me under the table. I don't want to be passed out, and I don't want the bill tomorrow. So
yeah, dude.
I just drink for fun. But yeah, we did drink a lot. Actually, we drank the entire time.
You did. I did too. But I can't drink like I did. I'm old now. I'm 40 years old. So I learned a while back.
Fane's a decade older than you, man.
Is he that old? Yeah, honestly, I did not know he actually, because he looks so like, because he wears those glasses. But when I met him in person, I'm like, damn, he's wrinkled.
Someone needs to put him in the steamer a little longer. Well, that's why he wears the Sophane cowl. You know, just covers this and this. So it's just this. All he has to do is just try to keep this in shape.
Yeah. He looks like a fucking baseball glove. But
I can't wait till I start getting vicious text messages.
Fuck you guys.
No, he's in a deposition today. He can't do shit.
Oh, he's broke the law.
Well, not necessarily.
I'm joking. But he's a good guy. He's a nice guy. And, I didn't know he knew who I was. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because I'm a big fan of you guys. And Red Eye, by the way, I got to embarrass Red Eye. Before the show, Red Eye was basically washing Pat's balls. I love it when you did this. I love it when you did that. I love it. I love it.
It's like, was it the Chris Farley show? Like, hey, remember that time you did that? That was great.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I remember that.
I fucking warned you this would happen every time you had someone on that I fucking like and I watched their channel. I told you I'd turn into a 5-year-old and fan out. And I'm a prophet because I fucking did.
You only did it one other time. When you did it when Big Tit was on here. What's her name?
Girl Does Rant.
Girl Does Rant. He was like, but anybody would do that because that chick's titties are fucking huge.
Well, honestly, I spend most of VidCon trying to keep Fane from fanboying. He does it constantly. He can't stop his motor mouth. He just starts going, and probably because he's been drinking, he just starts talking, and he can't shut the fuck up. And so I spend most of the time like you ever been to a party with your girl and you start being hilarious and then you start getting pinched inside? Yeah. I'm the whole time like, shut the fuck up, be cool. Like one time, be cool. Image, come on.
Don't embarrass me, goddammit.
We're gonna have to just do like a documentary on Fane called Behind the Glasses and just break that man down. He is just a fangirl that just happened to get some attention. He loves it.
I can just imagine how many times you've had to like stop people from beating him up, though.
Honestly, I think that's why he wears the spiked glasses. No one's gonna take a swing at him. Like, so he's just covered in spikes.
But by the way, Pat over here looks like a fucking movie star with all those goddamn muscles. This motherfucker.
Oh no, those are glamour muscles.
Oh, glamour.
Before I do public appearances, I went to the gym the week before. I was like, I gotta get big. I gotta get big, swole. Because when I get out there,
big too.
I was also I thought I was going to have to fight Leon Lush. So I was like, man, the guy's been working out. I gotta go hit the gym.
You should fight Logan Paul.
I can fight him with my witticisms. I watched that man lose it when he tried to fight a comedian on Twitter and lost. It was like, wow, that guy could just be beaten with just wit.
Yeah, he doesn't have any wit whatsoever, and he's such an ass. The thing that gets me is like I got fucking booted off YouTube for mentioning totally legal tobacco. And this dude puts a dead body on his channel. That's okay. Like, what the fuck?
Like that was one of those days where when we saw that video come out, not yours, his, and I saw his video come out and I went, can we do that? And then it started spiraling out of control because it started being reported upon all this crazy dead. I'm like, wait, is it like a real dead body or is this like a prank, bro? And then it kept coming. I was like, no, that's an actual dead body. Holy shit. And it just kept growing. So then we did like, I think a response a couple weeks later because I just realized I was like, man, I had this idea for a joke. It's a quick one, but let's just do it. Actually, a couple people that I'm friends with on Twitter were like, I said, I think we missed the boat. I don't want to do a Logan Paul joke about the dead body. And they're like, just do it anyway. So we threw one out. And honestly, I just thought we got a little bit of hate because of the making light of a dead body. But I was like, yeah, but he did it first.
You know, personally, I didn't give a shit that he put a dead body up. I really didn't. I just thought the hypocrisy of YouTube is what pissed me off. But I mean, yeah, was it tasteless? It was tasteless.
Yeah, it was tasteless. But like, I'm always in that point of like, yeah, but I can always find a way around tasteless. Like, I will try to make a joke. Every comedian tries to make a joke.
I make dead baby jokes all the time.
Right. What's Dan Harmon, when he's doing Community, they were talking about, he was doing it in one of those interviews. They had to ask Dan Harmon, like, is there any joke that's just too far? You won't cross that line. And he says yes and no. And the way he said when Community was on, he said we would come up with like, okay, what's just completely off the table we just will not make a joke about? And they said school shootings. Okay, let's just not broach school shootings. And then they said, okay, well, but as a writing exercise, how would we cover school shootings and make it funny? And next thing you know, their finale was a paintball shooting war in a school because it started off as a too far. And how can we lighten it to the right way to make it funny?
That's what comedy is, man.
Yeah, it's about delivering the right joke in the right place at the right time to the right audience.
Yeah.
There's a documentary I just saw that popped up on Netflix called The Last Laugh, and it I think Sarah Silverman's talking about it, and they're really covering like Holocaust jokes and Hitler, and like, okay, you can't make Hitler jokes, but then they're like, I think Sarah Silverman talks about how there's a lot of dark on the planet, and if comedy can shed the light onto the dark, then it lightens the planet up as a whole. And obviously, the Holocaust is a horrible, dark thing, but if you can't break it down and make it light of it, then it just stays this dark side of the planet. So even her, as a Jewish woman, making fun of the Holocaust is fine, but you know, if you're in Scotland, you're fucked.
I've made a few oven jokes before.
That's to me but that's like on the nose. It's like, oh, here's a good oven joke. And then I'll quickly connect it to Judaism and bam, I'm kicked off YouTube.
I think that we should be able to make fun of everything, because if you can't, if you can make fun of a subject, then it makes the subject a little bit lighter, and people if you can smile at least once during a day where there's a mass shooting, then that's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I do spend a lot of time trying to come up with what's the funniest way to do it. And like, we covered we did a video about the shooting down in Orlando, the Pulse nightclub.
Yeah.
And, at that time, the formula that Fane and I were going with is we'd find somebody crazy, most likely religious, because we start off very heavily atheist channel, but we normally try to find some crazy people that were silly, normally religious, and we tried to get on the other side of them, like out crazy them, which that's why Fierstein was always just the best, because he was just so crazy, but so goofy that we could just jump to the other side of him and get even crazier and make him look more sane than us. And that was the bit. So our formula used to always be like that. Well, Steven Anderson, that crazy preacher, he did this video talking about, well, they were all gay, so they're going to hell anyway. So actually, it was pretty good that they got wiped off the plane. It was like, I'm sitting there going, I'm looking at fam like, we can't do a regular thing where we're trying to get to the other side of the sky. I don't know where the other side of the sky is. It just seems way darker. So we had to try to find, okay, well, and it was that writing exercise where we said, all right, how are we going to make this funny? How are we gonna make it funny without it being in bad taste? Doing Logan Paul, you know?
Yeah.
And so we did this video where we kind of just broadcast the guy. I said, really, I think we just put this guy on a pedestal, turn him into a puppet, and we can all take swings at him. And then at the very end, I think I ribbon danced with a rainbow shorts on and locked it up.
That's awesome. I was going when right after that happened. I was going to Tampa, Florida, and I went through Orlando on a bus. And I made a joke. I was live streaming, and my friend was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just did that." So I went through Orlando, and I said, the home of Mickey Mouse and mass. I can't remember what I said. The home of Mickey Mouse and gay shootings or something like that. And people got pissed at me, man. They would say too soon.
I always go for the too soon. I love it too much.
See, that's the comedian's mind, and I'm pretty sure you can agree with this. Like when you see the mass shootings on the news, when everybody else is panicking, you're thinking of a joke.
What's the angle?
What's the angle?
How do I repaint this? I mean, I've done stand up for the last decade, touring around, and it really because that's where all the emotion is hiding is normally in tragedy, and that balance of comedy and tragedy kind of thing is like it's supposed to be tragedy plus time equals comedy, but comedians are always trying to say, like, how can we shorten that up to like tragedy immediately funny?
Yeah, exactly.
That's part. It's almost like every white comedian tries to see if they can get away with saying the N-word on stage without being labeled a racist.
I do that.
It's a challenge. Like, can I say this joke just right and get away with it? And that's all it is.
It's usually white people to get pissed off at you about it.
It's always the white people get mad. I had a joke about a guy in a wheelchair, and even though I wasn't making fun of anybody in a wheelchair, but it was in reference to someone in a wheelchair. And every time I did a show and there was someone in a wheelchair, they were dying laughing. It was like being the one black guy in the room. It's like immediately you tell a joke that might be a little edgy, and everyone looks like, is it cool to laugh? It was like, and at the end of the set, the guy in the wheelchair comes up to me, man. I was gonna say the guy walked up to me like, "Nah, I cured you with that joke, sir." No,
I am now Benny Hinn.
He rolled up and hit me in the ankle, and he goes, "Man, I just like feeling involved." And you didn't pull any punches. You even called me out while you were doing the bit, and he said it was great. It was great. I didn't have to feel like weird. And
I got a similar experience. I was on a podcast, right? A friend of Red Eyes, actually, Steve McRae. I was on his podcast, and they was all straight-laced motherfuckers, like serious people, and they were smart people. But I was sitting there making these jokes, and I was making black jokes, right? And they were like scared to death. But the black girl that was in the chat room, who I know, was texting me, "You're so fucking funny." And the white people were like shitting their pants. It's like, because we're not afraid to go places where,
but. They're the whites that are scared of their privilege.
Yes.
I'm like, we get to make those jokes.
Yeah, exactly. They're mad at our fucking asshole privilege. But I just feel that I was raped as a child, right? And I have this whole bit where I make fun of it. Mm-hmm. And people are like, how can you make fun of something so tragic? I'm like, dude, if I can make fun of a situation, the most tragic situation in my life, than a late electricity bill or somebody getting pissed off at me, it's not going to really bother me that bad.
Yeah. I'm owning it. I'm taking the power away from it. That's what happened.
Yeah, because he owned my little fat ass for a while, so why can't he own his? I still never understood why he looked at my little fat 10-year-old chubby ass like, "Ooh, that's sexy." I don't get it, but whatever.
I don't know how he would look at your current 40-year-old ass and look like, "Oh, it's sexy."
Oh, I'm sexy now. Look at that.
I have it under good advisement that you are neither a pimp nor a monk.
That is not true. Whoever told you it's a fucking liar, and I will sue them.
All right, well, he's currently being sued by somebody else.
Oh my God.
The allegations are flying thick and fast here tonight.
Nah, dude, I look like a fucking human. I look like a big giant thumb. I know that.
Oh, look, Tommy St. Clair's in the chat. What's up, Tom? I met him out there in VidCon. He stopped by for a hot minute.
Oh, he's gay. I mean, everybody's gay to me.
It's got to be.
Yeah, it's because I like to suck dick.
Is it just you like hoping like maybe if I just call him faggot enough, he'll let me suck a dick?
Let me suck that penis.
Oh, look how gay you are! You dick in my mouth.
I got a warm small pecker. It looks like a fucking a pinky finger having a seizure when it starts to get erect. It's bad. It's awful.
Oh no.
Yeah, I told that joke, Red. Hey, one more. I do have to tell you a joke, Red. This pisses Red off. Red, you know what the squid said to the bagpipes?
Oh no! Tell me.
I'd fuck you if you take off those pajamas. I tell that joke because he hates it.
I'm told it's a joke. Yeah.
Oh, the lizard.
I'm told it's a joke.
No, he wanted me to tell the lizard joke. It's so stupid. You know what one lizard said to the other lizard? Hi, other lizard. So fucking retarded. I told that at a funeral. But anyways.
So I saw there were some people having some other comedians were on Facebook, and they were having this discussion like, what's their favorite knock joke?
Oh yeah.
And do you have a favorite knock joke?
Yeah, I do. It's tuna fish. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. And it says
no.
What's your favorite knock?
My favorite knock joke is knock.
Who's there?
The Gestapo.
The Gestapo who?
We will be the ones to ask the questions.
There you go. I think my tuna fish joke is better.
No, it's not. Look,
Red, which joke is better, Red?
Oh, I ain't getting drawn into this.
You're
gonna ask me to vote while the guest? I'm voting for the guests joke.
Well, you're a bitch, dude. Why are you kissing people's ass?
Because we want guests next week, of course.
I did those videos you like.
That's right. Yep.
Well, I only watch because of Fame.
Fame is a flesh puppet. I have to basically shove my hand up his ass and work the mouth. Holy shit.
That dude's crazy.
He gets way more credit. It's just because he's like, I got to put on a bigger, louder costume than you. And just put spikes and sunglasses. Oh,
I got to put spikes on my face.
I will say that when it started, it was mainly me. And then as it grew, the production got so big, and Fane's love of pushing the envelope of what we need to do was what made the production side of it start to jump leaps and bounds, because he started looking up, okay, what's this? What we can do, this is website, and it'll give us this, and this, and we can add these things in. And then and he will spend almost more time than I do editing the video to fix little minutia in the video, little things that people won't notice, but it helps polish the whole thing.
Makes it come.
But now, like we did that Space Odyssey video, and now it seems to be he's gotten so deep into trying to do more CG that he's starting. I think he's going to lose the audience. I'm like, dude, you're starting to just get.
What's your favorite video you've done?
It's like picking my kids.
Which I don't. I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I don't like kids. So
I don't know.
It's okay if you don't have one.
I'll tell you what. I like the social repose. We did this one about social repose and being. I guess Fane was the landlord, and social repose moved into his house. And I think the reason I like that video so much is because it took months to write. Actually, it's because we went through all of his videos, found snippets of his videos that we could use to tell our narrative, and I wrote a narrative in with it. And then we started to film, and then partway into filming, I realized I didn't have a part in the video at all. Like, I wrote the whole part just for Fane to be opposite social repose. So then I took a few more months to at least another month and a half to figure out what my part of it was going to be. And at that moment, Jacqueline Glenn and social repose's relationship started blossoming. And so we were able to tie in Jacqueline Glenn into it and add another level to the bit. So it was one of those well-collected, well-crafted videos that took me a lot of time of thinking. And literally Fane realized when we filmed one scene, and he goes, and I said, there's no part for me in this video. And he goes, all right, well, let's just shelf it. Because he knew I would eventually come up with what the answer was going to be. He didn't work on it at all. He didn't think about it. He just waited until I figured it out. And so to me, that video was one of those, a culmination of all these ideas and finally coming to fruition. And it looks pretty much what I saw in my brain box when I wrote it. So that one I like. It's got good production. I think it's really fun.
You mentioned Jacqueline. Jacqueline's really the only reason anybody knows who the fuck I am. She actually let me do a guest video on her channel one time because she liked my stuff. And so shout out to her. And social repose is such a little piece of shit.
I try not to get in the middle of that. Like, we are friends with Jacqueline. We talked to her, at VidCon, and
her kids have grown too.
And yeah, it's weird. what 8 grand will get you. And we are friends with Richie, so it's kind of one of those like we're not gonna like he gave us permission to use all of his music because the actual social repose video that we made got flagged by his network because we used part of his song, the one with Jacqueline in it, and we used about a minute of it, but it's underneath a bunch of other stuff. It's layered, but because it's on for about a minute, they can still claim it. So they claimed it, and so we reached out to him. He immediately had the claim reversed, so we got our video back, and he also put us on the whitelist. So anytime we use his music, his network won't claim it. So that was really cool of him. He didn't need to go that far. He did that. So it was one of those, like, do you shit on someone who's been actually been very cool? I think he's probably a really shitty boyfriend. I can agree with that.
I think that's obvious.
And I am friends with Jacqueline, so it's one of those like, I can't be on his side because I mean he did hurt my other friend,
and she's so sweet.
Yeah, she's very, very sweet. But I have my own opinions on the whole situation. Like I could definitely tell she was more invested in the relationship from the beginning than he was, and I was like, bitch, you're getting way too cuddly with that guy.
And I love Jacqueline, but the thing about it is people in this internet world that we live in, we've got to post everything. And I think she made a mistake by posting so much about it.
The oversharing was
I told her, and I told her that.
It went from 0 to 100 with her, and I was like, that was the thing. It's like she kind of jumped at the relationship so fast, and made it so public and such a spectacle even from the beginning, that I think he wasn't really even on board yet for that level. He just wanted to bang a hot chick.
Everything they did, man.
And
he was like, So it brought up a question about I got a question for you because you brought up that. Have you ever been confronted by someone that you've done a video about in a very negative way? They were pissed off.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
Like Joey Salads was also one we did a video about. He loved our video, and that's actually how we became friends with Joey.
Yeah.
Because we started calling Collab, that was his network at the time, we called them a bunch of fucking thieves because we used 3 minutes of his video in our 14-minute video. They claimed it and refused to release it. So and he tried to get it back for us, and he couldn't get it back for us. But that's how we became friends with him. But the person that didn't like our video about them, and I think has since, and well, I do know has since. She now likes it. We did a video about what's that bitch's name? Jenny McDermott.
Oh, I fucking hate her.
We did right during the armored rape gate situation was popping, and she was making all these accusations about Armored Skeptic and this, that, and the other. And we were still a very small channel at the time, and I mean we still are, but we made this video, and it was one that helped pop us a little bit because I think Thunderfoot ended up adding it to his playlist and promoting it, and so a bunch of people started seeing it, and it was just one quick joke that we came up with, and then we just did like a montage of how crazy she is, and then at the very end Fane shoots Armored Skeptic in the head and just goes, was it that hard, Jenny? You could have just done that. Like, why do you have to do this slandering crap?
Awesome. I love that.
And so we did the video, and it got such a big response, and it was the first time we just saw like momentum happen on a video, like at like quick speed. And she hated us. She actually, I think she talked to Fane last. I just kind of cut off conversation with people immediately. He will try to keep talking, and I think she just said how much she fucking hated us and really thought Fane. I don't know. She didn't call him white trash. It was Fane gets called white trash a lot. Trying to think of who called it white trash, but she just said, how much she fucking hated us. And then last year, right before VidCon, we did a video about Chris Ray Gun and Lacey Green's relationship. And we decided it'd be really funny if we could reach out to some feminists or SJWs and get them to be collabs in our video. Because who would do that? Who crossed that line? And it was a perfect time for it, because last year at VidCon, everyone thought that we were all going to just kind of find this happy median ground. Bridges were going to be built and all that crap. And so we reached out to Christy Winters, Demotivator, and who else did we have? I guess it was just Jenny McDermott might have been the third. I think it was just 3. And they were all on board, but we really thought that there was no way that Jenny McDermott would do it. We knew she hated us. She had just kind of blocked us, visually, I guess. She doesn't even look at us anymore. And then finally, and she jumped in, she said, "You do it." She was really funny, really cool about it. And then after that, she has paid attention to everything we've done. And she has been very sweet and very nice. I think she's calmed down. That's what I'm assuming. But
I think
because she got real militant for a while, and we were kind of like, she's gonna run up the flagpole. But she's been because a lot of people didn't like that we put her in it at all, that we gave her any attention. And I said, really, it's one of those. Jenny is Jenny, and it's like we treat her like a cobra.
She's like, crazy.
It's like like you own a cobra. It's like I respect that the cobra could kill me. but I'm not friends with that cobra, but I respect the cobra for being there and being a cobra. Don't be mad at me, cobra. Like that kind of thing. Like we're still very nice to her. She was very nice to us when she didn't need to be. So it was one of those.
She accused me of sexually harassing her.
Just join that to the party. Like everyone has.
Did you have a mongoose on set while she was there? Just wondering.
At all times. Yeah, she was one that like absolutely hated that first video because it was. But then like she shared it a few months ago. She shared it like it's a classic. Everybody look at. I love this one. I'm like, the fuck you do? Like you flip flopper. I guess I don't know. She's pregnant now, so maybe that's what it is. She just got all like.
Oh, is she pregnant? I didn't know
she got the mommy in the brain, and she's like. I love this. This is a good joke.
She messages me every now and again out of the blue. Oh, it's not message me. She'll comment on a tweet or something I did out of the blue. And now she's being nice to me. And I'm like, whoa.
I'm telling you, she's got the mommy juice going through the brain.
Maybe because we do have to give everybody a chance to change. I do believe that. That's like, a lot of people, because Jeff's going to be Doc's Holiday is going to be on the show Wednesday.
I love that. By the way, that is my favorite. I made fun of. I went and saw him up there, and I told us like, man, Doc's Holiday is funny. You gotta love that one.
Oh, you gotta own that shit. I mean, there's so many fucking memes about me. You just have to own the memes. You have to own them. But Jeff's going to be on the show Wednesday, and a lot of people message me like, "How dare you have him on the show?" Like, fuck you.
You know what? He's back up to 70,000. So I'll give. He had a 70,000 stream months ago, but now he's back to 70,000, so he can re-release that stream again.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like when Jacqueline had the whole plagiarizing thing. You can beat a dead fucking horse. We did a video about that too.
Yeah,
I mean, I even talked about it, and she was my friend. She got mad at me too.
Well, see, ours though, like when we did ours, we kind of let it go about the plagiarism thing. The way we played it off was like, oh, it doesn't matter. You can put any atheist up there. They all repeat themselves. So who cares? So we just had her and theoretical bullshit going back and forth telling the story. And then we were just supposed to be the Christians that are just losing our minds, but slowly falling in love with each of them. And that's when Fane fell in love with Jacqueline Glenn, and I fell in love with theoretical bullshit because he's such a handsome man. And so we did this whole video, and really we didn't even cover the plagiarism part. Our characters fell in love with the other character.
You went a different route. And
we just the way we yesed it away was that all atheists say the same thing anyways. Who gives a shit?
Well, I mean, when I was kind of like you, I started out doing like the atheist humor videos, and then I'm like, finally, how many ways can you say there's no fucking God?
Yeah,
seriously,
I can't keep skinning this cat anymore.
Yeah, and people come to me all the time like, I want to see you do atheist videos again. Well, I don't want to do them no more.
Well, that's what happened to us. Like we had a lot of people that said that we sold out, and I was like, well, we didn't sell out. We just ran out of material. And honestly, when we were doing a satire video, there was only so many hilarious people like Vigilant Christian Mario. Okay, we did a video about him. We did, Josh Fierstein a couple times. We did, we did all the big hitters, right?
The one everybody does. Everybody made fun of those.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's how you get into the atheist community. You make fun of these key points. Yeah. See, how's your video do? And that's how and we're doing satire too. So it wasn't like we weren't debunking anymore. We're just goofing. And after a while, it's like the formula started being very grinding on us. And we're like, it's the same joke. I feel like I'm rewriting the same joke. And it just kind of got old. There was no really good. And we gave up on doing Ken Ham and all that. We're like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to do all this shit anymore.
There's a big world out there with a lot of good material.
I want to see who else we can make fun of. I was like, there's a much bigger internet out there. And that's when we started doing the public bathrooms. And that's when we did the Joey Salad thing. And that kind of flipped us to the other side where people were like, oh, they're just doing social commentary now. Yeah. And I was like,
by the way, I met Joey this VidCon, and I know he's got a bad rep in some cases, but the dude's nice.
He's a very, very nice guy. Definitely a guy you could hang out with, and he's nice to everybody. He doesn't hold it. Like I'd message him all the time on Twitter and shit.
And people love him too. A lot of people fucking love this dude.
Yeah.
We were trying to get from the convention center to the Marriott, and it took us 30 minutes because so many people stopped him and asked for autographs and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like shit. But he was a very nice dude. I wish people would ask me for autographs like
that. That was the other thing. He's the one that contacted me when the whole shit blew up about his a bunch of our fans started like tweeting at Collab, his network, just saying, what the fuck, and at Joey Salads. Next thing I know, all of a sudden I'm getting a DM from Joey saying, hey man, here's my email. Let's talk real quick. And I sat there and chatted with him, and it was really, really cool about it. But like he's the one that reached out to me because he didn't want his name. Like he's fine doing really bad social commentary, fake stuff. But he doesn't want his name slandered around like that. He would take down someone's video or claim somebody's video. And I was like, man.
See, and I like people who can make you cringe because I like to make people cringe, and Joy can make a motherfucker cringe.
Yeah.
And if I did a gay porn, I'd probably do it with him. Or you.
Why not? Why can't you just be the meat in the middle?
Oh, that's a lot of meat, dude. I'm a fat motherfucker, man.
It's like a pastrami sandwich.
Oh, I don't have a joke to back that up. Anyways, Red, what do you think?
I think
It don't matter.
I'm still sort of just want to say that congrats to Jenny, and here's a hypothesis. Maybe she's got something bigger to focus on now other than getting onto the internet and just fucking with people on a level. To be quite honest, I wish I was as dedicated as Jenny when it came to trolling people, because I'd be a fucking grand master.
Yeah,
I'm afraid she's
I'd
going
be
to
like the Iron Fist.
She's the best troll in the world.
I'm afraid she's going to eat her baby, though. I really am. I'm afraid
No.
when it pops out, she's going to eat it.
No, I'm not even going to joke about that. Congratulations,
I
Jenny.
will joke about it. Your
I can't.
dog's pissed.
I can't bring myself to do that.
You're such a nice guy, Red.
No, look, to be quite honest, I've been fucking horrible to her in several chats and several comment sections on several videos. So,
well, she's
I'm
been
just gonna
horrible to
say,
people. But she's
Yeah,
a
I
troll.
know.
But she is a troll. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Jenny is a fucking troll. And
but he's the basis. It's a very key word. She said a lot of things. She actually didn't. All right, she may have tried to fucking get Thunderfoot fired. That was really not cool. But
yeah, there's. I'm not saying there wasn't some very uncool things.
yeah.
But she's going to be a mum, and I wish her all the best. And I hope the baby's born healthy and happy, and I hope her tribe ends up rather large, and she has a good time of it.
Fane hears his dogs barking. Yes, Cerberus over there is barking at the gate, staring at me.
Are your dog sitting?
Yeah, I came over to the studio, and he's got all three. He's got 3 Pomeranians. They're all staring at me.
He's got Pomeranian. He's got the pussiest dog.
Does he not seem like a Pomeranian on her?
I'm
my
a pit
nan.
guy.
My nan kept pommies.
He has. Well, there's Sid Vicious. He's the patriarch.
Jesus Christ!
This is awesome. There's Johnny Rotten, and he's just a big old fluff ball. And then there's Muffin. She's adorable.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's in the chat room. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Fucker couldn't be on the show. He's too big for me. He's too big of a star.
He's on a water break right now before he's got to head back in.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, but Pomeranians, it really takes his man card away a little bit.
Well, see, to me that doesn't, and this is why I thought it was much funnier, because I had an issue with John Wick 2 when John Wick goes and gets a pit bull. Like, it's just so on the nose for like, go get a badass dog. Like, John Wick doesn't need a badass dog.
No.
John Wick is the badass. Him having a beagle was funny. The juxtaposition was funny. So having a small, cute, fluffy dog is hilarious. It means I'm too much of a badass. I don't need to walk with a monster on a leash. So like, Aaron
I have a monster, but I used to have a pug for 14 years, so I get it. I was just trying to make fun of him.
I had a boxer, and I was always a big dog guy. And then my wife, she got this little Italian Greyhound miniature pincher mix. It was a little itchy, squirrely looking thing. I was just not into it. And then I fell in love with the dog. So now I bought myself a min pin. So I have a little miniature pincher named Sinner, and he's a piece of shit. And he's a garbage dog. But I love him. He's got the most amount of character than anybody.
The little dogs usually have a lot of personality.
Yeah, mine doesn't have a clue how small he is. He picked a fight with a pit bull. lost a lot of his face. And so he had like part of his muzzle was being pulled through the fence by a pit bull. So his whole mouth's all fucked up. The scars are cool. So
the coolest thing I've ever seen, I had 2 pugs. I had this one solid black pug, and pound for pound, this may be the toughest dog I've ever seen in my life. And he fought a pit bull and he won.
I don't think Sinner would fight the pit bull, but not understand that he's losing.
I have never in my life seen nothing like that. That little pug was kicking that dog's ass. The pit was probably just a pussy dog, but still.
Yeah. It was one of those, the size of the fight in the dog, not the dog in the fight.
Yeah, exactly. It was just crazy. It blew me away. So, okay, what YouTube, was there a YouTuber that inspired you to get into this shit?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll try to do I'm very long-winded, but I'll try to get into the why this channel started. I went through a vicious breakup with my girlfriend, now wife, several years ago. I was touring too much. It was one of those things where we split apart. I needed something to do to entertain myself when I was off tour. Yeah. And because I like being a performer, I wanted, and at the time, podcasts were all the rage. And I was like, yeah, I think I can do podcasts. So I started doing podcasts called Devil's Business. And we started, it was Fane and another friend of ours, Nick, shooting the shit. And but I think at best we were getting 100 downloads a week. And that's when I thought, man, I was like, we're crushing it. 100 downloads a week. Awesome. And Fane kept watching YouTube, and he was watching a lot of atheist videos at the time. That was what he was consumed with during the atheist bump that was going on YouTube. And so he started showing him more and more. And then he said, I think we could do this. And then about another 6 months went by. We still didn't do anything. We just kept watching it. And I said, all right, I think we can do that. We got the whole photography studio. We just need to get some continuous lights, some big bright light stuff. I think we could probably film something, and we'll just see how it goes. And that's when he said, well, if we were watching Bible Reloaded, I was primarily watching Chick Tracks just because they were funnier. But it was Bible Reloaded, Logic, Armored Skeptic, Creationist Cat. Those were like the ones that we were watching in the beginning. And it was primarily because I like the humor. I like the dry, sarcastic. That was what I was more into. I'm an atheist. I've been an atheist since I was 7. So it wasn't breaking new ground for me. So I didn't give a shit. Them debunking somebody didn't win me over. I was like, that's boring. So I started watching more and more shit. And so those were our influences. So we said, well, let's just try to make a video. And of course, because we were watching so much atheist videos at the time, our first video was atheist directed. And he asked, because I had this YouTube channel already that I was just putting shit for the podcast on. So I sat there and would upload just clippets of the podcast on this video or on this YouTube channel. And Fane goes, well, should we start a new channel or should we just keep it on that one? I said, let's just keep it on that one. There's no point in starting another channel. Yeah. So our URL is still Zombie Werewolf Product. So it's youtube.com/Zombie Werewolf Product. Even though we're poisoning the well. And so then we changed the name Poison the Well. And it was just one of those things where it's like, all right, we just left. We kept the channel for no reason other than too lazy to just start the second channel. But then it was figuring out what we wanted to call ourselves and all that shit. But I would say like directly Armored Skeptic was definitely one because I thought he had some very funny lines that I thought were hilarious. He talked about gay marriage, I think, at one point. And one of the things when he was talking about it, this is a line I always remember, it made me laugh real hard, was they say that out of every 10 people, one person out of every 10 is gay. And then he says, I've had sex with 10 people, so at least one of those dudes was gay.
That's a good line.
I was like, that's classic. That's a really funny line. Yeah, I'm stealing it. It was that kind of sense of humor. So that's why when I went to Dragon Con dressed as Armored Skeptic years ago, before he started popping. Yeah, and I think he'd just barely gotten onto Drunken Peasants or something like that. And so I went to VidCon, and then he liked the picture a lot and then shared it. And I was like, oh my God, Armored Skeptic knows who I am. And now Greg and I are buddies, but it was weird at the time because I was like, I shouldn't have fanboyed if I was going that direction because you don't want them to know later.
Exactly.
Like you were my little bitch.
Yeah.
But now, like, you know, Greg and June are like friends of mine. And I was like, oh, this is awkward. He has pictures of me dressed as him and shit.
It kind of the same way with me and like TJ, Amazing Atheist, right? That he's the one that I started watching and got me in.
I mean, he's what everyone, he's the granddaddy.
Yeah. But when after I met TJ and became friends with TJ, like really good friend, it was weird, you know, like, because he'd come, there's just no videos like, oh, I love TJ, I love Amazing Atheist. And now I'm calling him a motherfucker. It's just so weird.
TJ is a motherfucker.
He is a motherfucker. He's the biggest motherfucker I know.
We did a couple years ago. We did the charity stream for Bible Reloaded. It was the 8-hour stream, and I think he buried it. We were buried like somewhere hour 4 or something. But we at that point, I think we had 4,000 subscribers. So why we were invited on, I have no clue. Other than Jake liked us a lot. Yeah. Which we didn't even know Jake knew who we were. But he invites us on. We do this 1-hour stream in the midst of their thing, and TJ's in the chat. He's dropping money. You know, he dropped $1,000, almost $1,500 in the 1 hour we were on, and he even says, you know, someone needs to poisoning the well. And then like a little while later, someone was talking on Drunken Peasants, like, oh, y'all need to get Poison the Well on, and he's like, I don't know who the fuck that is. And then Paul's ego's like, I think there was like a band or something. And we're like, holy shit. I was like, TJ's fucking either lying or he's just so stoned he has no fucking clue that he knows who we are.
He forgets like in 5 minutes, though.
Yeah, so I was like, shit. And then but hopefully we'll be on Drunk Peasant soon.
You know, I'm a regular host on the
Drunk Peasants. I know.
Yeah.
Rub it in, dickhead.
But Paul's, you know, I kissed Paul's ego.
I don't know why you would.
It's actually recorded. So we did it in LA on stage because we did it for a fundraiser. Do you know who Galen Halcyon is?
Well, hold on. Back up. Did they not pay enough until you had to kiss?
No, they paid for us to kiss.
Stop you to kiss.
They paid for us to kiss.
Yeah.
We'll see what happened. What happened was Paul was on the fundraiser. I did a 24-hour fundraiser for Halcyon because he had some very surgery bills to pay and stuff. Right. So Paul came on, and Paul did. I don't know if he was thinking they would. I think he think they wouldn't do this, but he made this joke: if somebody give $1,000, me and Pimp will kiss at the meetup in LA. Well, boom! Somebody gave $1,000, so we had to do it. And so,
I mean, that's good, I guess. But someone should have given like $1,000 to prevent that from happening.
But we did it to Unchained Melody. And,
well, I mean, it's like the sexiest song.
Yeah, and you know, Paul put his finger up against my lips, and because I was singing to him, and then we kissed. It was. And
I'll be honest with you, the only way I can see you and Paul's ego ever kissing is on either end of a spaghetti string.
Yeah, because we're both fat.
Lady and tramp it all the way in.
But here's the crazy thing. Afterwards, I got really wasted, right? I was drunk, and this dude, one of the fans, came up and he was like, Pimpmunk, I missed the kiss. How did it go? And my drunk ass grabbed him and said, like this. I grabbed him and kissed him.
Well, so that's owning a joke. That's worth it.
Yeah, that's right. So, but now everybody says I like kissing men ever since. And you know, because I've found a reason to kiss guys a lot. I don't know why. I've kissed Tommy from the Bronx.
We get called gay and faggots so often at this point. It just doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, it's not gay if you jump up and scream Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No, as long as I can, you know, wear that mask.
If you don't swallow, you're not gay. But I swallow, so yeah.
So it's all the protein. I need the protein for my glamour muscles.
As long as you high five afterwards, it's not gay.
But you know, it's okay to laugh at things. Like you made the fat joke, I thought was funny. The spaghetti joke. People are so pussies these days. Like, you know,
it's a joke. It's a joke. I was fucking around.
You know, it's so weird. My most popular video is a video called The Big Fat Lie, where I pissed all kind of fat people off. And it was a serious video. It was me and my webcam, and it went fun. Hell, it made it to World Star Hip Hop for some fucking reason. It was on the front page of Reddit. It was crazy. And then I made a video about, I said Trump was Jesus. And this black website, for some reason, thought I was serious. And And so they posted it on there, and people, and I was talking in this real redneck voice. I had banjo music in the background. I had camouflage on, an American flag. And then at the end of the video, I had bloopers, and they still thought it was real.
That means they probably didn't get to the end. We get that a lot. We get people because, you know, when you're being so sarcastic, if you're selling it too well, people don't get the bit. And I've had bits go beyond people, and you can tell that they left their comments before they got to the end of the video.
Yes.
And didn't get the payoff yet. And so they just think that this video is about this, and they're pissed off, not realizing that we're about to make fun of whatever it is that, you know, it's like,
exactly. I was making fun of Christian people and Trump supporters. And then, but the funny thing was the Trump supporters loved the video, and the people, it was just so weird.
We did a Trump video, and I posted it on the Trump Reddit page, and it got a lot of play out there because I guess the video is just on that fine line enough where you couldn't tell if we were being Trump supporters that were mocking the left, or if we were the left mocking Trump and his supporters. So you couldn't quite tell what we were trying to do. So it got a lot of play because I don't think people knew. They
so your satire was too good.
Yeah, basically. It was like kind of like, I can't tell if he's a leftist or if he's conservative.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I was called a wigger and a racist in the same video.
That is a really tough position to be in. You gotta work hard to get that.
Yeah.
To be able to be that on both sides of the fence at the same time. You're an enigma, sir.
Yeah. I did a video one time called "The Word Nigger." That was the title of it. And so this black girl got on and started kind of calling me a racist. And she did not watch the video. I said, "What of this video makes me a racist?" She said, "I didn't watch the video." What?
Yeah, we've had the arguments where someone starts to argue with us, and so we start firing back, and then we're like, "Did you watch the video?" Like, well, I didn't watch the video. I'm like, well, then your argument just immediately fell apart because you don't even know what side you're arguing for.
You can't go by the title.
Yeah, the title is satire in itself.
Yeah, but you know, and of course we're clever little fuckers. We do that on purpose. I'm not gonna say I'm not like pro clickbait, but I'm not gonna shy away from a very obvious title. No, I mean that's the reason I titled that "The Word Nigger." I knew it was gonna get attention.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
I need to get another fresh beer.
Go ahead, man. I'll make fun of it.
Is it noon yet? Oh, it's not noon yet. I'm just gonna go ahead. It doesn't matter. I've been trying to drink. I've been drinking Strongbow Rosé.
That's your new sponsor. Go ahead and get you one, man. I'll make fun of Red Eye till you get back.
Good.
Yay.
So, anyways, we haven't even touched the topic, and that's okay. This is actually better, I think. We'll do this topic another day this week. He's a cool dude. Pat's all right. I think he's a little gay.
Oh, I think that marriage certificate may beg to differ. But you know what? Who am I to judge? His
wife's got a dick.
Well, I can neither confirm or deny that. That's allegedly, and that's my position. Sitting on the fence as per usual.
And you said because he's got a marriage certificate. Look, dude, man, that doesn't mean nothing. I know people who are with women. Look, you've been with women.
Have I? How do you know?
You told me you did.
Maybe I was lying.
I think you were.
Yeah, it probably was.
It's Sophane. Now, Sophane is working or something. He's got some stuff going on. He couldn't make the show. But Pat's here. Pat's been a great guest. Been
awesome.
I love talking about, that kind of stuff. And so it's been great. I'm not going to tell him, but I would love to rub baby oil on his body and put him in a tub of Jello. Oh, he's back.
Okay.
Shh.
What's up?
I don't have speakers in the studio. I didn't hear everything you just said.
But Red Eye said you were gay.
Only for pay. Only for pay.
Gay for pay.
You were the one mentioning the Jello, boss. Come on, man.
Well, I am gay.
That's a gay buffer. Joe's a gay buffer.
So, have you ever had? Have you got a stalker yet?
Not because of this. But I've had a stalker before. I'm trying to think. Do we have? I think we've only been recognized. I mean, outside of VidCon, I think Fane actually got recognized, which is weird because he wasn't wearing the Fane costume. He was in like a suit and wearing his regular day glasses and stuff. And someone goes, "Hey man, are you a YouTuber?" And I was like, "That's weird." Yeah. It's like, 'cause I look like this all the time. Yeah. No one has recognized me. But I have been recognized for my stand-up, and I did have, like, you know, a note left in my mailbox kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it was I mean, it slowly fizzled away. I just kind of backed away slowly.
I have a current one. I went to Philadelphia back in January, and this dude showed up outside the hotel recording stuff, and he's messaged my mother and my family. He flags every video. He's just fucking wackadoo, man. This dude's insane.
That's definitely one of those things where, like, you start to realize that you can't tell if it's a hater or just an obsessed fan, and it's like there's a fine line between the two.
Yeah.
And kind of like, well, I think Chrissy Winters is weirdly in love with Bering and can't leave him alone, to the point now. Does she have every right to give him criticism? Sure. And I'm sure he would invite that criticism.
Absolutely.
But the relentless attacks have become like it's almost become a hilarious joke now, because it's like he's going to have his new Twitter is going to be taken down. I know it, because he can't keep one up. No. And you know, Carl's Sargon's his Twitter just went down. I'm like, I'm not saying it was Chrissy Winters, but I'm not gonna think it ain't.
That woman's crazy as fuck, dude.
Yeah, Fane keeps I'm not gonna say friendship. Friendship seems a little too fair. She's another Cobra that I don't even interact with. Like,
I don't want no part of that Cobra.
I've had a few back and forths with her on Twitter, and it's one of those, like, every time I comment or just critique, I get a tweet back from her, and it's like list of, you know, 1, 2, and she just bullet points all of her breakdown. I'm like, wow, you missed exactly what I was saying. And every time I've had a back and forth with her on Twitter, it has turned into, oh my God, here comes this diatribe that she's going, and I'm like, I just can't be a part of this. I can't. Her and like Chrisiosity are ones that, like, don't get the joke.
I don't know this.
And Chrisiosity is the only one I think has ever gotten under my skin, because I normally just let everything right off. I don't give a shit. Like, because when I close the computer at the end of the day, nothing else, it doesn't mean shit to me anymore. The only thing that means shit to me is my wife, my family, and my friends and shit. That's it. But, you know, I love the internet. This is a great tool, but I don't let people get to me. But anybody that just doesn't get a joke or is so blatantly not getting the joke, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And when we did our Riley Dennis video, and I used a bunch of talking points about, you know, some feminist talking points at the end, but at the very end, I'm supposed to be a CIA agent, and I'm supposed to force myself onto the newly feminized Riley Dennis. And I kind of forced myself onto her because she wouldn't have worn that gown at the hospital if she didn't want it. And so I'm using, like, oh, now that you're a woman, you're only going to be paid, you're going to get paid 70% or, you know, 30% less than you used to be. And like, I go through these, all the talking points, all the boop, boop, boop. I go right down the list. And it's on purpose that he, you know, going from trans to just being a full blown, you know, girl now, that now you have to deal with the women problems. And that was what the bit was, is that you're adding the problems from this table onto the problems with this table.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything in the long run. I mean, as long as you're comfortable. But it was in response to the fact that Riley Dennis was not going to release his what he was doing surgery wise, that he was transitioning, and it was no one else's business. So I thought, oh, well, if he's not going to tell us, then we'll make it up ourselves. We'll come up with our own story. And he gets in a plane crash because he's working for the CIA, and he's a $6 million man, and all that. And so it's this whole bit. And at the very end, I just go down these talking points as a feminist talking points. And I get done with and we were supposed to do a live stream with her. Like, we're going to be on this, I think Chrissy Winters and Chrisiosity and a couple of the other, like, we were going to go on and have to be on one of their streams. And I was like, all right, let's see if that happens. As soon as that video came out, she cut it, pulled the cord. She's like, I don't want to be on the same, you know, platform you guys. And she like blocked me. I mean, she always blocks and then unblocks. So it's like, she blocks me. She leaves some cryptic DM for me and then blocks me. And It's
got a
like
weird game.
I'm like, you didn't get the joke. I was like, I used your talking points. These are what you fight for, and I used them, but you didn't like seeing it. And it was like, and she even admitted that she's like, maybe I just don't always get the joke. I'm like, you don't get the fucking joke.
Every run-in I've had with Splinters, she always brings up that she's got a PhD, and I'm like, yeah, I know. You've told me like 5,000 or 6,000 times.
My favorite Riley moment is she's on this video and she's always saying, "Oh, you're transphobe." It turns out there is a level of certain bullshit that she won't tolerate, and that was the trans. There was this transracial person, and that's where Riley hits a hard limit. Riley, this transracial bullshit. And she's like, "Oh, so you do have a hard limit? So okay, but you criticise others for not wanting to date trans, whatever their hard limit is, but you just don't." I found it quite deliciously ironic that she did. Transracial people, no, that's just bullshit. Okay, then, fair enough.
Like that's fucking up my argument. Shut up. Yeah, Fane pretty much met Riley last year at VidCon. We were at the Hilton Hotel, and I see Riley Dennis walking through the hotel, and I go, hey, that really tall dude with long hair, that's Riley, isn't it? And Payne goes, yeah, go talk to her. And I went, nah, I'm too weird. And so I sent Fane over, because honestly, I know how Fane looks. He's actually the best foot forward when meeting people. I'm weird. And also with this Richard Spencer haircut, it just doesn't go well. But I was like, he kind of shocks the system so immediately when you see him. And then you realize he's talking to you, and then you wait, what do you need? So he ran over, introduced himself to Riley, and invited her to come over and have drinks with us, and Sargon and Andy Worski and Jeff Holiday and all this shit. And he was very nice. He was like, well, I appreciate y'all not just coming over and jumping down my throat. Of course, this is right after the garbage human situation.
Yeah.
That she was just like, I appreciate the offer. I'm going to pass. And we're like, I get it. But he was very, very nice. Riley's a very nice person.
But it's sad that people don't get that we're not like, when I make a video about, I'm not going to just run up to you and say, motherfucker, I'm actually, we turn it up a notch for videos.
Right.
We're nice people.
Yeah. That's why I've always said, like, when people were saying, when the flying monkeys were swarming a couple of years ago and actually went after Fane for a minute. Fane can really piss people off. The flying monkeys, all of AIU's posse came swarming. And anytime they saw a target, now at the time, Creation's cat was definitely the prime target.
Yes.
And we had a video written, but we didn't get it done in time. By this point, it'd be dumb to try to do a AIU versus Creation's cat video. But at the time, we had one written. So at some point, I think actually Fane was defending Godless Engineer and this argument, and he just said, he jumped in on Twitter and said, "Hey man, what he's saying is not this, or you're taking it blah blah blah." And the flying monkeys swarmed on Sofane. So Sofane ended up going in to one of their flying monkey poop fights, and he's getting bombarded by Skullduggery, or I guess was that his name?
Yeah, Skullduggery, that fucking bastard.
Yeah, he comes jumping on Fane. I don't even think he knew who Fane was. He just knew that fuck this guy. And then one of these other chicks that fucking hated Fane and that, and he's getting bombarded until Edith came in and saved him, because she knew Logic was about to do a shout out for us, and she was like, I gotta go quell the fucking fights. So but AIU was so over the top, and I was like, this guy can't be actually like this. Like, all these flying monkeys are like, fuck these people, and they're all this march, and they were just swarming through Twitter, and everyone getting attacked, and channels are getting false flagged, and it was like, that he can't actually be the way he's acting in real life, because if he did, he'd be getting his ass kicked daily.
Yes,
he's playing a character. He's playing this, and maybe he feels like this deep down, but he's playing the character. He's letting it loose. In public, he's not like this. He can't be. Nobody is that big of an asshole all the time.
Great point. Because and they don't understand. People, some of these viewers, I love my fans and stuff, but like I've said things where it was an obvious joke, and then they go after people. I'm like, no, don't do that, don't do that. You know, it's like when a while back on the DP thing, Billy and Paul had this thing where Billy act like he threw piss on Paul, and it was obvious joke, but people went crazy over that shit. And it was so funny though.
Yeah, you know what? It's a delicate power you got to hold, because you can get momentum and you forget that sometimes that your sounding board's too big and the momentum can get out from underneath you.
I wanted to bring up one other thing. One of my favorite videos when I really started watching you guys is you guys did a video on Onision, and I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. That was a one-off, and that was what taught us a really bad lesson. Like, we actually were trying to film something else that day, and then I realized I was like, we're not gonna be able to get this done. I was like, it's getting late. I was like, we just kind of got everything sorted out, what we're gonna do and how we're gonna attack something. And we were about to leave. We went ahead, shut down the studio. I head upstairs. We're talking, and he said something about Onision, saying something about iDubbbz. I'm like, wait, I didn't see that video, and he shows it to me, and I go, what the fuck? I was like, put your spiky glasses back on. We're going back downstairs. And so that was off the cuff. That was just us. I was just kind of ranting and stuff about the whole subject. And then it got a lot of attention. And then there's still people that are commenting on it saying, this is a great video. I'm like,
it was great, dude. Because you called that dude out on his shit more than anybody in such a right way. I mean, you broke it down and you fucked him up.
Well, that was the thing. A lot of people were like, you made really good points. I know you were joking about him, but you kind of broke down everything he was saying. I was like, I just thought he was being kind of disingenuous about a lot of things. And I can't tell if he's being real. Yeah, because I also think Onision's a bit of a troll. I don't think he is. That, you know, other people have said that they saw him at VidCon and he was like the nicest human being to talk to.
Billy loves him. Billy fucking loves him.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Billy was just saying he's actually a really great guy. Like, he's really nice. And it's, man, that's frustrating because it's like, you start to realize, man, I've already got this preconceived notion that this guy's a douche nozzle and I don't want to be around him. And then you're like, well, maybe he's playing that character really, because he can really play the bad guy. Really,
he's good at it. He's a heel. He's definitely a heel. And,
he's a pretty face heel.
Yeah, and that goes to our point that we even fall for it sometimes. Like,
I catch myself in it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I put like this VidCon, right? I am not socially awkward at all. I'm a very outgoing person, easy to talk. But I don't realize sometimes that the people that I watch videos of are very socially awkward in real life. They're not these loud. And so when I run up to them, I'm me, and they're like really quiet.
Yeah, they're way more reserved. Rucka Rucka is.
Yeah, good point. I like him.
Also, but he's very much more reserved. You'd think that the guy that makes the goofy videos like he makes, he's funny. You can get into a great conversation with Rucka, but it was like one of those. You kind of expected him to be more like Chris Ray Gun, who is a little more loud and
he is Ray Gun, and so little. He's so little.
Ray Gun is still very much Ray Gun. I mean, he's not jumping on chairs necessarily, but he's still funny and sarcastic the whole time. And I wouldn't say socially awkward at all. He's not. He's very self-aware, but I would say that Rucka was just much more reserved, much quieter, just genuine person, just not didn't put on a facade at all. He just, hey guys, how's it going?
That's like you mentioned Armored Skeptic. Well, we had breakfast with those guys, and I was being my normal. And in real life, I'm kind of a polite gentleman, and I was being polite. And I heard Armored tell June, "Wow, Pimpmunk is actually a gentleman." I was like, "Well, you think I'm a dick?" He said, "From your videos, yeah."
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm not a dick sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's weird. And you mentioned getting noticed. The funniest time I ever got noticed was I was in San Jose, California, and I was standing outside a hotel, and I tweeted, and somebody tweeted and said, "I think I see you, or come say hello." And when they did, dude, this dude was so nervous, and this was like the first time where I really I didn't understand. Like, even I got fans. His legs were shaking, and he was about to. And I'm like, dude, calm down. It was so weird, like signing autographs. And I'm not famous or nothing, but it's cool when people notice you and stuff.
Yeah. I one of the times I got noticed was awkward. It's always a little awkward because you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
I was on a bro trip with my friends, and we do it every year down around the early first weekend of like October.
Yeah.
We tend to go down Tampa.
Oh, okay.
And we go and we do our beer fest trip. And we've been
yeah.
doing it now. It's going on 12 years. And year like 3, we're in Busch Gardens. We're going through a haunted house. And as you would expect, it's beer fest trip. So we're hammered out of our minds. And we're heading into this haunted house. And the haunted house's theme was a dead sorority house, like where they lure guys in to kill them or something like that. It was a really bad idea. But anyway, we're going through it, and I'm hammered, and I'm walking through the bloody sheets, and I'm like, ha, ha, ha. And then I hear this, Patrick. I went, I stopped for a second. I go, what the fuck? And I hear, Patrick. And I go, shit, this haunted house is good. I am legitimately creeped out. And behind me, this blood-covered sorority chick runs up. She goes, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. I'm like,
that is so awesome.
Fuck. And she just got upstairs and she goes, I saw you do a show over at the where the comedy club was there. I saw you do a show over there. You were so funny. Oh my God. And then finally one of the other management people that was there was like, keep the line moving. They're like, get back and post. It was just like she had a meltdown, and then other people were like, the fuck just, like all the people behind me like, what the fuck just happened? And my friends were like, they were drunk, and they're like, I'm sorry, was that on purpose? Did you set that up? And I was like, no. They're like, wait, you got recognized in a strobe light.
That's pretty awesome.
That's too recognizable.
That is a great story. That's a really good story. And it made you, and even though it was weird for you, it probably, it made you feel good though. You know,
Oh, it did. By the time we got out of the place, I was like, wait, did that just happen? Like what happened? They didn't run into me at the store or anything. It was in the middle of a haunted house screaming my name. I'm like, that is not the way I want to be met.
I got a question for you about comedy. Because you're stand-up. I'm actually trying to get into stand-up myself. I've been wanting to do it for a while. My brother's working me a gig in Palm Springs. Eventually, I'm supposed to do it at a huge club. It's going to be a huge audience. I'm scared shitless about that, honestly.
No, the bigger the audience, is way easier.
So who inspired you to do stand-up? Like what comedians? Probably the obvious, like George Carlin, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that growing up, it was George Carlin's Class Clown. I had that. My dad bought me that album. Richard Pryor.
Absolutely.
And I always say Bill Cosby because I still have his 200 Miles an Hour album, like vinyl album I used to listen to. But now it's like I say Bill Cosby and everyone's like, oh. I'm like, look, when that's new shit. But like I used to listen to 200 Miles an Hour all the time. It cracked me up. And it was that joke telling that he could tell one story for 45 minutes and it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
It was like him talking about his brother with whom he slept with. It was like this hilarious long bit about trying to go sleep at night and pissing off dad. That's hilarious to me. So I used to write a lot of my bits were always these long-winded stories. One of my first bits that I wrote was about going in to get my first physical when I was like 12 or 13 or something like that. Mm-hmm. I went in to go get my first physical. Well, for those of y'all who don't know, they grab your balls. Okay. And I didn't know that. And my mom didn't tell me that I should be prepped to have my balls grabbed. So I wrote this whole story about going in blindly, not wearing the right underwear, and, you know, having to pee into a cup. And it was this whole story that I built because of Bill Cosby. So like I used to write bits like that. So he was definitely the influence. Him, obviously George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Gallagher was actually a big one.
Gallagher?
I love actually some of my jokes I still tell to this day.
Wow.
If you, I mean, I'd have to tell you which ones they were, but there's a cadence, a pace to them where I'm actually delivering it like a Gallagher, almost like I wrote it for Gallagher. It was one of those things. It's like, I met him. He was really cool, became friends with him. And it was like this guy that I used to watch on Saturday mornings on Showtime with my dad. And I think that was the other thing, is it tied to memory. And honestly, if you're a little kid, Gallagher's really entertaining. There's a lot of colors and there's big couch trampolines and whatever, and smashing watermelons. I was like, that's awesome. I have his whole collection. I have his whole watermelon collection. So I every once in a while will pop one of those videos in.
You like Dangerfield? He's one of my favorites.
Love Dangerfield. The self-deprecating humor, I think, and he did it in a fun way.
Masterful.
Yeah, it was one of those self-deprecating humor sometimes can get really morbid. I'm trying to think what's his name. I can't remember. Richard. Shit, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Spencer?
I can't. Richard Spencer. His jokes are really dark,
Aren't they?
but they should be white.
But
then as time went on and I started finding my own voice, I would say like Ron White.
Absolutely.
I get compared to Ron White a lot with my delivery. Also because
you're drunk.
I'm also a drunk.
Yeah.
So the way I present myself tends to be a little Ron White-esque.
He's so funny. He's the best one of that tour.
He lives. Oh, absolutely. That's why he didn't continue with the tour. He was doing his best to keep it light, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, they were all clean, and
he lives out here in Atlanta. He pops by occasionally at open mic nights.
Atlanta? I didn't know that.
Yeah. ATO. But at some of
pretty soon.
Hit us up. Let us know. But yeah, he comes up by the open mic night. So if you're ever in Atlanta, who knows? Ron White could pop in at any moment. So he hangs out with a lot of the open micers and shit. Real cool guy, like that. So he was definitely an influence.
Okay.
So what are your fears? Your fears are to just getting up on stage, it's like a stage fright thing, or what?
I guess in a way, I've always, even though that I make fun of it and people, man, I'm okay with it. I don't know, it's the appearance thing. I don't know what it is. Honestly, I'm afraid. I guess it's a lot of things afraid to fail, really, to be honest with you.
Look, the fear to fail is normally everything. Thomas Sinclair got me. It's Richard Lewis. Thank you, Richard Lewis. This is who I was talking about. The depressed comic that's maybe two more.
Yeah, okay. I know who you're talking about.
He was the king in Men in Tights, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Anyway, the afraid to fail. I live for that. Like, doing it for last over a decade. I don't know. I guess I was 17 when I first got on stage, and I'm 36 now. So I don't know. I've been doing it for a while, but doing it professionally for over a decade. And, the fear is gone. Like the anxiousness starts to go away and, nervousness, it fades off. So I like that. It's like a drug to me. If you can get that, like uncomfortable, I love that.
And lately, the one thing is because, I kind of got noticed a little bit later in life. I'm 40 years old. And, sometimes I say, I'm just too old to fucking succeed now. And that's not true. I know that's not true. And also, I know I can do it because I know I'm a funny fucker. I'm a pretty funny guy. And I've got tons of material wrote and everything. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, I just don't. I have these irrational fears.
As long as have your set list written out. Don't go up there just thinking you're going to remember.
Yeah,
everything. You got to have it written out, even if you write out
improv. Improv is kind of my deal. So.
Yeah, don't rely on it.
No,
I've seen Ian Bagg. I hosted for Ian Bagg way back in the day, and he's an improv comic, and the audience just wasn't there, and they just weren't. And it was like all of a sudden he had to rely back on his bits, and they weren't. It was like he had to like save himself from that. But yeah, I mean, as far as the bigger the crowd, the easier it is to do. Like
really?
A small crowd, small crowds are terrifying to me. That's when I start getting like, oh man, I gotta have to work because I've done the smallest show I've ever done was like 3 people.
Way more intimate than
and it's like if a joke doesn't work, it didn't work. There's only 3 people and 3 of them didn't find it was funny. So you're got 100% of not funny on that joke. But if you have an audience of 100 people and 20 people think it's funny, that means you only got 20% of the audience, but 20 people laughing is still a lot of people fucking laughing.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Also, people like to laugh or not hear themselves laugh. So if there's more people in the room and it's tightly packed, they don't hear themselves laughing because the person next to them is laughing. So the laugh is more contagious that way. It's more pressure. It's like a pressure cooker. You want them sitting close to the stage and close together. But when they're spread out or sitting along the back and you're talking to the back of the room, that sucks. That's the worst. You want as many people in there as possible. That's what you want.
Well, see, you actually pumping me up a little bit. I may just do it pretty soon. But there's no comedy clubs where I live, so I have to go to Memphis or somewhere. But so I may do it. I have a lot of irrational fears, and I know they're irrational, like fucking being scared of escalators. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me.
I mean, if you're near Memphis, I guess where you?
I'm in Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Northeast. I'm close to Memphis. I'm like an hour and a half away.
Okay, I played the Gibson Lounge on Beale Street. years ago.
Awesome place. I mean, not the place, but the street
Yeah,
itself.
Beale Street's the best. I'm going back up for my 1-year anniversary in October. But yeah, I love Memphis. But yeah, if you're over in that part of the region, that's actually the best for comedy because they ain't got nothing to do out there.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of funny fuckers around here either.
Well, honestly, I cut my teeth doing flyover country. I was doing Nebraska, Kansas when I first started touring, and it was like I barely had 20 minutes, and I had to do at least 30 minutes. So it was like 20 minutes of me telling really bad jokes and even starting to do impressions just to buy time, and stretching, and then just doing improv towards the end because I didn't have anything. I had to fill 30 minutes. It sucked, and so the other comic, he had to fill an hour, but he barely had 45 minutes. So then he would stretch, and then we started to find out that we were supposed to be doing a 2-hour show. I'm like, oh shit, wait, we're only at an hour and a half. So then we started coming up together. So now, like when I do the Saints and Sinners tour with Matt, it's now part of our show. We ask questions from the crowd. We hand out question cards and people. So the last like 20 minutes, we chat. It's all with the crowd. It's all crowd interaction. And so if you're out there, you could set up a comedy night by yourself. If you have anybody funny nearby, you just put up a little open mic night or something. Yeah. But we used to do that. We were going just talking to karaoke machines to anybody that would fucking listen, and it was getting paid beer and chicken fingers.
Yeah, I guess the scary thing is that this place I'm supposed to do in Palm Springs eventually. It's a huge place, and their normal nights are like 300 people. In the club. So
if I had 300 people at every show, I'd never go broke.
I mean, the last guy was the last guy they had was like a Mexican dude that steals jokes, Carlos Mencia.
Is he still touring? God damn, fuck that guy.
He was there, but it's a dance club, but they bring in comedians from every now and again, and it's scary, but I really want to get it because I love doing this, but I want to branch out more.
It's a rush. And even if you're just doing it as a fun hobby, it's worth it. I think everyone should at least go to an open mic night. If you have 5 minutes, go to an open mic night and try it out.
I definitely have 5 minutes.
Yeah, I would definitely work on that 5. Just so you have your
15.
I would say I would go up there with your first 5. Like go to a couple open mic nights, do whatever you can, work on the set, hammer it home, and then so at least when you start your 15-minute set, you have the first 5 minutes it's nailed.
Yeah,
before you start going into the who knows.
There you go.
And know what your closing joke, know what you're opening with, and what your closing joke is. Because if the middle starts to suck, you go, fuck, I got a great closer.
There you go. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna do it eventually. I like talking to people like you who actually done it. It can get the inside stuff on it, so that's cool. You ever had any bad hecklers? You ever had to deal with a heckler? Of course you have.
Of course, yes.
Like, what's the funniest heckler situation you've ever been in?
Honestly, the best I had, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I've had so many. I've had really bad ones, and then I've had really fun ones. One was I was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the Comedy Zone, and it's a big room. I think we have about 300 people in this big, long hall. And it's attached to a hotel, and so it's like a big banquet hall, I guess, really. So these long fucking tables, but there's a small table they put up along the front of the stage, and I'm standing up about 5 feet. The stage is real tall, and this frat guy sits in the front corner, and I start the show most of the time before I hand it off to Matt, the other comic, and I'm getting the crowd going, and I'm chatting. I'm about 35 minutes into my set, and I'm getting ready to bring Matt up, and because I know it's like, man, when Matt's gonna come back up, he's gonna do about 35 to 40 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back up, and right as I'm getting done, I try not to engage the audience too much in my early set because I know Matt's got to come up, and I don't want to start a bunch of the hornet's nest and get him having to suddenly fend off people. And I always encourage a lot of drinking. So normally by the time Matt gets up there, I've gotten the crowd hammered, and then he has to try to then tell his bits. So because of that, I don't try to engage too much at the first part of the show. And this frat guy's in the corner, and I could tell by towards the end of my set, he starts getting a little mouthy. He starts, as I'm talking, he starts talking. He starts thinking that we're having a funny conversation, and I'm trying to ignore him. I'm literally I'm like, I want to get started with you, and then I'm putting the mic. I'm about to introduce Matt, and he just keeps going. And I'm like, hey man, I would love to sit here and just rip on you for a minute, but I can't. I gotta bring Matt up, and I don't want to start this shit, and then have Matt have to come up and deal with your shit. And then from the back of the room, I heard Matt go, "Take it if you want it." And I pull the mic back out and thing, and I just start ripping on the guy, and I can't remember what I'm fucking saying, but I'm making fun. I tell him he's dressed like a frat boy. He's dressed like an Easter egg with all the pastel colors, blah blah blah. I'm just kind of going off on him, and this, did your frat boy not get here, and you have to drink beer out of his ass or something to get into his fraternity, and blah blah blah. And I get through it, and as I'm going, Matt then decides to join. He grabs a second mic, so then it's just the two of us yelling at this guy. And at that point, his frat buddy shows up, and it's like perfect timing. So then we went off on him and his friend, and the beer enema he just had to go through, blah blah blah. And we went through this thing. It was just so much fun ripping on him. I just remember leaving there with a big old smile. By the time I got back on stage, he was passed out in the front, just drooling on himself. And so that was like my favorite ever dealing with a heckler. I can't remember what I was saying. I just remember I was just riffing at that point. And that's normally a lot of, sometimes you had the stock lines where you go, I don't come to your work and kick the dick out of your mouth or whatever. It's that shit. I mean, those are like stock lines that every, buddy deals with. But, when you can just kind of just go off and just have a good time and mess with the guy and the whole crowd's dying, everything you're saying.
You ever, anybody come on stage on you?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you two separate incidences. Okay. Once with me, once with Matt. The first time, and this is a rule: never give up the microphone. As a comedian, you never give away your mic. That's your last vestige of control, is the mic. So once you hand that over, you've handed the baton off, and you just let the show go complete shit. So I was still very young. I was in my early 20s. Black mohawk, black fingernails, still kind of dressed the way I dress now, but black shirt, kind of goth looking. And they take me to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, home of the Tar Heels. And I am playing this sports bar, and they have me outside on this big patio, giant patio. And of course, it's all the frats and sorority girls from University of North Carolina coming in. Well, as I displayed, I had a mohawk and black finger. I don't blend with that crew. I didn't go the collegiate route, as I decided to go right into a career and start touring as a comedian instead. And I've been, working on it for years. I got a booking agent and started working my ass off. And all of a sudden I'm in this college town. And all the agents thought, well, you're young and they're young. You'll probably crush it in college. The college rooms will love you. The problem is, and the reason a lot of comedians don't like doing colleges now is so the PC culture is killing it. I don't do well in front of colleges because I'm not politically correct about anything. I like to joke about shit that maybe you shouldn't joke about. And the young adults that now feel that they're independent of their parents like to suddenly have a very high opinion of themselves and think that they have the world better figured out than their parents. And they're way more sensitive to the plight that they feel that the world is. So as I'm joking, I'm losing the audience, and it's all pastel polo shirts. It's cargo shorts and flip flops. And I can't help but start to make fun of the audience a little bit.
You have to.
And I'm starting to get heckled from the back. Somebody's shouting. I can't see who it is because they're way in the back of this patio area, and they're heckling me. And I'm finally, after enough, I heckle back. I kind of rip on them back, but every time I start to talk, and now it's like every time I start to speak, they interrupt, and it's made it awkward. The whole audience is now weirded out. I can't bring him back now. This guy won't let me continue. So finally, I just start calling the guy up to the front. I go, all right, come on up. If you're so funny, you obviously have a bunch of lines. You don't want me to continue. So if this is going to just continue, then I'll go ahead and let you say what you want to say into a microphone, so you don't have to keep yelling and blow out your voice. Come on up to the front. And he's not coming. I'm like, no. You don't get to shout from the back like you got the biggest dick in the room, and then act like a pussy when I ask you to come up to the front. Come to the front. And he starts to panic. Well, finally the crowd starts getting on my side, and they're calling him up. He finally walked up to the stage. I put the microphone into the mic stand, and I go, all right, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes to tell all your best. I don't care if they're street jokes. Tell your best. You got and he brings his bro with him, right? I'm like, you got 5 minutes to tell him your best jokes. I don't care what it is. And he goes, I don't need 5 minutes. I'm like, no. Comedy goes in 5-minute increments. You don't get to come up there and just do nothing. You got 5 minutes to fill. Because I want you to see what 5 minutes. 5 minutes feels like an hour when you're unprepared. But I want you to go ahead and go for it. And I just stepped away from the stage. I was so pissed. And like his friend grabs him. He goes, "No, look, my friend's funnier than this motherfucker." And they're all booing him, right? He's getting booed. So then the guy starts trying to tell a joke, and they're booing him. Booed him right off the stage. Finally, the manager of the club comes over, takes the mic out, hands it back to me. And that guy's kind of with his tail between his legs walking back. I go, "See that shit? Fucking sucks, doesn't it? Hurts." I was like, I got broke down for a second. I got real. I was like, "Look, I don't know you people. I come from a different part of the country. I obviously have a completely different background. I have nothing involved with you, but I have to get up here for over half an hour and try to relate to you, try to bring some semblance between the two of us that we can both laugh at. And you're literally giving me nothing besides this." Now, the rest of the show, I had him, the crowd was great, but man, that first part of the show was so tough that I had to shut down the show and let the guy come up on stage.
But you caught him on his shit, though.
I called him on his shit. But after that, I was like, I'm never giving away the microphone again. I'm never letting them have that. They don't get that from me. They don't get that anymore. Matt was the other one that had finally given up. I gotten called out, strangely enough, it was another college town. I was down in Tallahassee, Florida. And so we're playing Meister Jaeger's comedy club. And I thought, well, with a name like Meister Jaeger's, you got my attention. And we get down there on a Wednesday night. We're playing the whole week, and it's a Comedy Zone room inside this bar. And I get down there, and the manager goes, "Well, tonight's show is going to be we got called earlier today because we didn't really have many tickets sold, but a law firm has rented the room, so it's going to be a bunch of lawyers in there doing so. Try to keep your jokes clean." And I looked at him. I went, "Well, I don't really do corporate shows. In fact, the agency knows I don't do corporate shows." So he's like, "Yeah, it's just no lawyer jokes." And I went, "Well, the jokes were formed on lawyers, so I can't not tell a lawyer joke." I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And what I've always learned to do, and what I still do to this day, when someone suddenly changes what you're supposed to be doing, I agree with them. I go, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, totally, yeah, no this, no that, okay, yeah, I got that." Then I just do my show anyway. I was like, "You don't get to tell me," because corporate shows have to pay a lot more. Well, they're paying us the flat rate for a comedy show, and all of a sudden we get there and it's a corporate show and it's lawyers and we can't tell lawyer jokes. And I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm not a corporate comic. I'm not squeaky clean. That's what they want. They want squeaky clean for corporate, and I'm not by any means squeaky clean. And I was like, yeah. So I was going, yeah, sure, whatever. And I get up there, and about the MC goes up, and he has him for a couple minutes, and then he just starts to bomb. And it starts to be really, the room gets real dry fast. And so then he just invites me up, and I go up, and I'm up there for first 5 minutes. I'm doing okay. And then they start to kind of tense up. And the reason corporate shows suck so much is because everyone's there with their boss, and you can't laugh at a off-color joke because your coworkers know that you will laugh at an off-color joke, and then it's tensions there, or they don't want to be there anyway, or they're not comedy goers. And so I start doing a couple dirty jokes, and it's getting a reaction. I'm getting laughs, and I was like, "Oh, do you want me to do the dirty jokes?" Basically asking the crowd, and they did yes. So I start doing dirty jokes. I do a couple dirty jokes. I don't even do dirty jokes. I just do a couple. And then all of a sudden it starts to peter off again. And I start to feel that the tension in the room came back up. And the main lawyer, the owner of the branch, sitting on the table right in the front, and he goes, "Just finish your drink and get off stage."
Oh shit!
I'm like, "Hey, good enough for me. I've already been paid." And I put the mic back in, and I walk off stage. And the manager of the club is in the back of the room, and he signals me in his back room, and he is fucking furious. And he starts trying to chew me out. And I'm sure most comics probably tuck their tail between their legs because they job. And I don't. I just stand up to him. I'm like, "Fuck you, asshole." I said, "You told me." He's like, "I told you it was going to be a bunch of lawyers." I'm like, "You told me 3 fucking hours ago, asshole. You didn't tell me last week that it was going to be a bunch of lawyers and be a corporate gig. By the way, you're not paying me corporate fucking money." And as soon as the agency finds out that you booked a corporate gig and aren't paying us corporate money, and then told us 3 hours before the show, so I'm yelling at him. He's like, "What the fuck?" And yeah, he's never had a comic yell at him because comics normally just go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Like, I just don't give a shit. Like, fucking fire me, ask. I don't give a shit. So I start yelling at him and chewing him out about this bullshit and this fucking lawyer and why are you letting the lawyer run the fucking room? Do you not have a dick, you fucking pussy? And at the time, and he knows Matt. He knew the other comic that I drew with, and Matt does corporate and could go squeaky clean. And Matt's up there doing a squeaky clean set. You know what they wanted, what they paid for, and I just walk off from the guy. I'm so red and mad, and I walk away from the guy. And then later that night, we went out with the manager, and because as he's talking to me, we hear dead silence in the comedy room. We walk back, both of us, the manager and I walk back into the club, and we see Matt on stage, and the lawyer is on stage next to him, holding the microphone and trying to school Matt, because Matt is from Alabama, has this Alabama accent. But what the guy doesn't know is Matt is a chemical engineer. Like, he's very smart. Like, shouldn't be doing comedy. He should have stayed a chemical engineer where he makes the big money. But instead, he wanted to tell dick jokes on the road with me. So Matt's sitting there. Matt's red-faced and furious. And the guy's like trying to like school him. And Matt's he's asking him about this, that, and the other, and distances and time and math. And it's like, you can't ask Matt anything about math because Matt literally is a human calculator, can tell you everything. And it's just making the lawyer more mad. He's got to try to stump this Alabama redneck, and it's not working. And so finally, after the show, we go with the manager, and Matt is so furious when we cancel the show. Or we get done with the show, basically.
Yeah. And
the lawyer wants all of his money back that he booked for the room. And we're talking to the manager, and we go, the manager says, look, Pat, I'm going to let you go up again tomorrow night. And I was like, yeah, give me a real comedy audience and I'll show you what happens. I was like, what you threw me into was a snake pit that even Matt, your little lover boy over here that you know that's squeaky clean, couldn't fucking deal with. So don't act like I fucked up the room. You fucked up the room, and you didn't control the room from the beginning. So that was the 2 times we let people on stage. Other than that, we've never really had like someone accost us on stage or throw something on stage, or, you know, I mean, I've almost gotten a fight after a show, but never during a show or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask. I was going to ask anybody ever challenge you to a fight after a show, because I've heard a lot of comics talk about that. One of the best I've ever seen dealing with hecklers is Joe Rogan. I fucking love Joe Rogan.
Joe will shout at people. Also, Joe knows he can beat the shit out of you. So
yeah, exactly. Joe
makes it real comfortable.
Dude, you seen that video where Joe kicked that dude, right? And the dude lifted in the fucking air. It was. Oh, I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, it's from many, many moons ago when Joe was professionally doing that circuit of fighting for trophies and shit. And he does this spinning fucking kick and it nails the dude right in the goddamn sweet spot and lifts him, and the dude flies a couple of feet back and then lands and goes. It's like, yeah, don't ever fucking upset that man, and don't get within kicking distance if you have upset him.
Oh, we got people asking about Steve Hofstetter. Not a fan. I don't like. Well, no, actually, I don't have it. Like, Steve Hofstetter is a comedian, also a booker. One of the rooms he books, or is a part of booking, is here in Atlanta. Somewhat part of the Laughing Skull. It's attached to the Vortex Radio or Vortex Bar and Grill. He also is in charge, or was at least, of Morty's Comedy Club in Indianapolis. But there's several other rooms that he was in charge with. The guy has a business partner, and I'll tell his name, Marshall Childs. And Marshall and I do not get along at all. In fact, the reason I don't play Atlanta is because of Marshall Childs. Well, Steve and Marshall are butt buddies. So, because I have a bad reputation with Marshall Childs, Steve, Fane's like, docs. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Marshall goes up that's his real name on stage. Look up the fucking comedian. I don't get along with Marshall at all, and he doesn't get along with me, so it's all good. But Steve, I don't actually have an issue with, like, personally. Like, he's fine, but he's always Doxkake. Yeah, just all over
talking shit, man.
But I'm just talking shit about somebody. But the guy, I don't get along. Steve Hofstetter is fine, I guess. Technically, he did try to get us into the Morty's Comedy Club once. Even though he knew his business partner wouldn't be happy about it. But whatever, fuck it. I burned that bridge so long ago. That's the other thing is like Matt was trying to get us into the comedy club. I probably could get myself into the Laughing Skull now because I have an in with the owners.
Yeah.
But going around the booker is kind of a shitty thing. And it really wouldn't be worth it to me. So I won't try it. But Matt tried to get us in with the Laughing Skull not too long ago. And Marshall was like, well, I see you're still touring with Patrick. So I'll book you anytime, but I won't book Saints and Sinners. And he goes, what's wrong with Patrick? He goes, I've seen him. He's not funny. And Matt goes, when did you see him? He goes, I saw him some years ago. And Matt goes, are you talking about that one time he emceed for Ian Bagg at your club? He goes, yeah, he wasn't funny at all. He couldn't work the stage. And he goes, dude, that was over 8 at the time. He goes, that was over 8 years ago. Don't you think he's gotten a joke since then? I started realizing, I was like, yeah, the guy doesn't care if I got jokes.
He just don't like you.
He knows that I don't like him because I think he's so unprofessional and I'm not going to get into too much because that doesn't really matter. It's boring shit. But I thought the guy was so unprofessional. I just dogged him, that's the other thing. Don't burn bridges before you have them made. So as much as you might not like somebody, I think this also goes with YouTube. Don't start burning bridges with people like Andy Worski has been torching bridges like crazy. And now no one's going to reach out an olive branch for him because they don't want to get burned by him or his followers that loved him.
Yeah.
Fane got burned by Andy, and Fane has no interest in helping Andy out, and neither is anybody else at this point. So
he's pissed a lot of folks off.
He pissed everyone off. So
and that's what YouTube's about, is like helping each other. Like when you get a little, and now that he's just fuck everybody, and now he's fucked himself.
Yeah, but that's the big takeaway, I guess, is I burned the bridge when I was still an open micer with a guy that I didn't think was going to stick around as a booker because he was so unprofessional, and I dogged his name a little bit, and when I was drunk and out, and then all of a sudden he stuck around and became a bigger deal, and I'm like, oh fuck that piece of shit, I'm gonna have to deal with him forever, and basically at this point he won't deal with me. So in the long run, don't burn bridges. It's not worth it. Nice. Even if you really don't like this person, don't burn bridges.
Well, we come to the part of the show where we, if you got questions for Pat here or Stofane's bitch, whatever you want to call him, I don't know.
Trust me, Fane's my bitch.
And Fane's, I seen it. Fane followed him around like a little puppy.
That's because he can't see shit. I'm just seeing iPad.
You're seeing iPad. But yeah, if you got questions, please, and also tips. Man, just how I make my money. So if you want to tip, there's links in the description below, or some mods can throw them up in the chat room. And Patreons, become a Patreon. I definitely need them. And is there anything you want to book right quick? Plug.
Poison the Well.
Poison? I think everybody knows what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not much going on. Someone was asking about, do I have anything booked? Is there any plans for another Saints and Sinners album? Yes, there is a Saints and Sinners album on Amazon, I think iTunes and shit. It's been so doctored. The guy that edited me down to like 16 minutes because he was trying to keep it clean because he was trying to putting us on Sirius Radio. And all of a sudden my part got kind of cut because, well, I drink a lot in their mind and talk about drinking, and he didn't want it. But there is a Saints Sinners album. I am on there. You can buy. I think the whole album's really good. It's got a lot of funny shit.
When does the Riskcast come off?
Yes, as far as Saints and Sinners comedy, we kind of tour sporadically now because I'm not full time.
Yeah.
As I was doing 280 dates a year at one point, and that's where my relationship with my wife was starting to be constantly fractured. I was living out of a suitcase. It started being it's very difficult to try to want to get married and have kids. Like at first when we were in our 20s, it was fine. But when we started getting into my 30s, she was like, are we doing a family? Because you're not here to have a family. And so Matt and I had to kind of think, do we want to keep it up? And the reality of being a full-time comic, well, sucks. Unless you live in New York or LA, there's no point in trying. Do it as a hobby is fun. And so, but as far as upcoming dates, stay on my Twitter is really the best because we don't publicize it nearly as much anymore because I just don't care. I'm like, But we play mainly Southeast. So if you're in the Southeast, you will see us from time to time pop up. Yeah.
Fane says Google Saints and Sinners tour, comedy tour.
Yeah, that none of those dates are accurate on that. On that. But sure, yeah, you can look that up. The Saints and Sinners Facebook page would probably be the best because I'll try to keep those up to date. Yeah. We do play Myrtle Beach a lot because we are part owners of the club. So if you go to Myrtle Beach to the Carolina Comedy Club, and I always support them, or if you're just on vacation to Myrtle Beach, go to Carolina Comedy Club at the Broadway next to Hard Rock. And
when are you touring to Los Angeles, Pat? I want to see the show.
The problem is Los Angeles is so full of other comics that are desperate for time. They are not going to fly somebody from Atlanta to come out there, but they can get someone cheap local. They can't afford me, essentially, because I will want them to pay me to fly out there. I thought about maybe going out there and doing whether it was a showcase or an open mic night. So I got maybe rub some elbows with some friends and try to get in like the Laugh Factory. I did do an open mic night years ago at the Laugh Factory. Maybe I'll try to hook it up to do one next VidCon.
Yeah, that's what Fane said there, next VidCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to try to get out there a little earlier because we didn't get there until
TanaCon next year, man.
TanaCon. I will go if they try it again. I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't get into VidCon until like midnight on Thursday night this year. I think next year we're going to go ahead and just fly out probably Wednesday night and be there all Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
Well, I took a bus. I didn't fly. Yeah, I took a fucking bus.
You're a bus person.
I am a bus person. Somebody said, when's the wrist cast come off? I don't know what that means.
This is not a wrist cast.
Yeah.
This is my Beastmaster flare.
That's his gear, man.
This is like, honestly, if you look at the way that Fane and I dress in the video, like originally, that's the thing is the original idea behind it is we were supposed to be these super Christian religious characters circa 2006, 2008. So we just kind of dug through our closet for the shit that we used to wear out to the nightclubs around 2006, 2008. So when we started our channel, it was supposed to be kind of a throwback to what we used to look like. And so, you know, Fane's puts all the rings on and we put this is the shit we used to go out and all the time. And so we kind of made it part of the costume. And then as our channel has progressed and we're not really playing those characters as much. I mean, we're still playing characters, but we aren't those characters. None of this makes sense anymore, but we just keep it on.
Bondage factories, what somebody said. Any upcoming Poison of the Well videos?
Actually, we've got several. We're going back to full production. So we did a bunch of the like the Onision type videos where we kind of just did a direct reaction. Unless we see something that really gets our goat, we probably won't be doing direct reaction anymore or response. So we've got the outline for the new Poison the Well in Space. What are we calling that? Oh, Current Year Space Odyssey. We call it SISO. So we got that one's written out. We got to finalize the script on that. We've got another very funny one that we were talking about this last weekend. Actually, two funny ones. It's the birth of a joke and where a joke outlives the comedian. So we have a couple bits about that. There's several things that are coming down the pipe. I don't want to give too much away. That'll be, but it's very funny stuff because I was belly laughing and I don't normally laugh that much. So it got me giggling pretty hard. So we got funny shit.
There you go. I'm looking forward to that. I love your guys' videos. Somebody said, hey, Pat, open mic clubs you recommend in Atlanta for rookies?
Open mics. Every other Monday at the Sweetwater Brewing Company. They hold a comedy and beer night. My friend Joe Pettis, he was on the Getting Dug with High a few times. He's been on Doug Benson shit. He hosts it most of the time. This is his kind of baby. He also does One Up Comedy, which he hosts over at Joystick. As far as that goes, those are good. I'm not sure about I'm not up and up on the open mic scene in Atlanta. I don't open mic anymore. So those are the ones I'm aware of. But it's always worth checking out the Punchline is still doing theirs, or Laughing Skull's doing theirs. Outside of that, I'm not real sure. There's always open mic nights kind of popping up all over the place. So keep an eye. I think Marietta Square does one at the Strand Theater on Wednesdays.
Luna says, Pimp, I think he has one of the leather bracelets I was wearing. And a girl said that. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm into fisting.
Which is better, to live as a comic or New York or LA?
Which is better, to be a live
To do
being
a
an
show,
audience member or to be a comedian?
I think they're asking you which you prefer to do a show.
I guess New York, even though I hate New York. LA is much more superficial. New York is got better rooms because in LA they try to make everything look like it's ready for TV. That at any point they could film something in there. New York, it's like done at every dark, dingy under a bar, black box theater, so there's better comedy rooms. I just don't like to hang out in New York that long because they insist upon themselves. All the comics they steal from each other or are very identical, whether they're stealing or just having the same cadence. They start to sound too much alike. So I wouldn't develop comedy out of New York. I think I would go to New York with my style of comedy before I would live there. But
you hear a lot of comics though talking about doing New York is where
you can work in New York as a full-time comic without leaving New York. You could work around the clubs there, work nearby. And that's the only thing I could say. Like if you want to be a full-time comic and like want to try to you have to blow up. You have to get on TV, get writing credits, do something to blow up. And you have to live in New York or LA to do it. I tried to stay in Atlanta, just didn't work out. I have a few writing credits for CMT, but that didn't do anything. So sorry, CMT didn't pick up the guy with the mohawk and move him forward in a career. But
you like the speakeasy atmosphere. Somebody said
they got beers there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then yes.
As long as there's alcohol, he's all right.
Any atmosphere is good with me.
Yeah, I was so glad you mentioned Ron White because he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and you know what? There's no difference between Ron White on stage or off stage. Other than off stage, he's not trying to make you laugh anymore. But he is a absolute drunk. He drinks constantly.
So it's not an act. It's real.
Yeah.
He's not Dean Martin.
No, I'm friends with his sister. She still lives out in Amarillo, Texas. I met her on accident, even though he lives in Atlanta. I met her in Amarillo, but I was hanging out. A bunch of comics were invited over to Ron White's house, and we were sitting there, and he drinks the best scotch, right? He's got a full bar, and everyone's downstairs at his place, and he points at the bar, and he goes, anything you want drinks either at that bar or in that cooler. And if it ain't in there, you probably shouldn't be drinking it. I was like, all right. I'm going to try the moonshine.
I seen the Jeff Foxworthy roast and the joke he said talking about his mustache. He said, "Where I come from, we call that prison pussy." And it's just so funny, dude. I got a tip from I think it's from Fane.
Of course.
$5 tip. Let me see if I can get the message here. If he left one, I appreciate it very much, homie. I can't. It's fucking shit's messing up. Okay. Thanks, Pimpmunk. Love you, bro. Well, love you too, man. Appreciate it very much. Y'all should do what Fane did and tip because
tip.
That's how
Fane did that.
Even Fane, he's cheap.
Yeah. He's in the
I don't know idea if he's cheap or not.
Not anymore. No, he's run into some money. But he found a couple. But he came by it honestly, dead relative.
Okay.
So, he ran off and bought a new gun the day we went shooting yesterday.
You recently got back from out of the country too, right?
Yeah, I went over to Greece. That was fun. Because normally the only time I've left the country before was for comedy. I went over to Kuwait and Iraq, and I went to the Bahamas, but those are all for telling dick jokes. So going out of the country for just for vacation was something new for me. My wife made the plan to go to Greece at the same time that we were moving into a new house, renting out our other house, and all this happened. We had to leave the country. It was just really poor timing, but it was a lot of fun, and I got to go see some very, very old shit. That was cool. Go to Athens and Santorini shit. It was cool.
Red Eye? You hadn't talked about. Do you got any questions for the guest?
No, I just want to say thanks for coming on. Looking forward to watching more of your content. It's always
Don't
fun
kiss
to
his ass.
I'll do whatever I like. I'm the boss
wieners with you guys.
Nah, he's awesome. It was actually one of our. We were very excited about having you on the show, actually, because I don't watch a lot of YouTubers. I really don't because I do all this YouTube shit. But you guys are somebody I actually do take time to watch. And
well, that's what we always said. We were like, we can't produce weekly like we would like to, but we can at least try to make it have rewatchability where you might watch it and then watch it again later,
and it still be relative,
and have it still kind of hold true as funny or something like that. Because we still have people that will suddenly binge watch again, and we'll see them comment on all the videos and go rewatch everything. Like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and when I met you guys at VidCon, I was like, you're just actually my type of people. I mean, you really are. You just down to fucking earth and don't give a shit, drunks and don't give a shit. And it's just those guys I could have a beer with. Some of the guys that I met was like, okay, they're cool, but I wouldn't be partying with them and stuff like that. But you guys,
it is tough to come with some of the guys. You got to try to strip down the layers of the onion to get them to party. But we'll be up in. That's something I can promote. We're going to be at MythCon in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah.
We are special guests. We are the party people, so we're getting up there early to do MythCon. If we are giving away free tickets, and the free tickets have been technically given away, but the person doesn't know that they've gotten them yet. She might have been in the chat earlier. I can't remember, but we were gifted free tickets to go to MythCon to give away, and so you'll be contacted soon if you were hoping to get free tickets.
I gave up going to skeptic conventions quite a while ago. I went to
they're boring.
They are, and they've turned into like SJW events too.
Well, that was the thing with everyone was starting to have issues with MythCon because MythCon was supposed to be this atheist convention, and then it started being more of this just SJW, anti-SJW mess. But I was like, honestly, at the end of the day, I was like, there's enough of the atheist backing there, and the conversation is still good. And most of these anti-SJW people that are coming as well are also atheists and can have a good conversation. Some of them are also Christians, which I was like, that's good. We need to have that. You got to have that that shit in the pie too. So we're going to go up there and basically we'll be drunk because it's Milwaukee. It's all beer.
There's a lot of beer and cheese.
But we're going up there and we'll make everyone drink again because that's kind of what we do.
I'm going to Green Bay in November to watch the Packers play the Dolphins.
Fuck Green Bay.
I will stab you in the knee.
Oh, fuck Green Bay. I played Appleton a lot. So, I mean, I used to love Appleton. I would go up to the Green Bay area. And I think that's what soured me on wanting to be. I dealt so much with Wisconsin people that going up there, I was like, fuck Green fucking Bay.
Dispatch, you got shots fired. I repeat, shots fired.
I'm such a Packers fan, man. Green and gold till I'm dead.
Look, Aaron Rodgers is still my keeper in my fantasy league. So don't worry about it. My quarterback, but
it's one of my bucket list items because I live in Mississippi, and I'm a Packers fan. And people say you gave him Packers fan because of Brett Favre. Actually, no, my father.
Hey, what? Atlanta, we call him Brett Favory. So
yeah,
that's how we drafted him.
Fucked up, dude. They got rid of one of the greatest ever. Y'all,
yeah, we suck. Look, we get out of our own way sometimes.
But yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to actually having like a little Pimpmunk meetup thing in Amarillo in September. So Texas, the big Texas. We're having it at the restaurant where they shot the Pulp Fiction restaurant scene. So yeah, Jack Rabbit Slims, which is actually called the Big Texan. So yeah,
Big Texan.
Yeah, just like my penis, not really.
Wait, Fane, what are you yelling about in there? About the myth of the flying dinosaur? What was this? Science special one. Hey, PTW clubs, for anyone wondering, is either leather jacket out the window. Yeah, that was another one I had to work on. That was one of our early videos about the people that think the dinosaurs are a myth. We threw a leather jacket on a kite out of the window. It's a science experiment that dinosaurs couldn't fly. Wrap your mind around that shit. But that was actually one of the classes. That's another one that literally got stumped trying to write it. And then I had to wait about 3 weeks to a month before I could figure out how we were going to shoot that video. And that was another big accomplishment for me to get that flying dinosaur one.
I got another tip. Let me see if there's a message here. Somebody brought up the third ball, of course. Every day somebody brings up my third ball. And I appreciate it very much.
It might be just a cyst, by the way.
No, it's actually a third testicle.
It's a fully functioning third testicle.
Yep. I have a fully functional third testicle, which is very rare. There's only 200 recorded cases of a third testicle, and it's even less to have a functional testicle. And I have one. So when I jizz, the chick looks like a fucking Jackson Pollock painting. Shit's everywhere.
It's like a pack of grapes, man. Jesus.
Yeah, and the thing that is, I got this huge sack of testicles, right, and a little bitty penis. So it looks like a Tic Tac on top of 3 oranges. It's crazy. It's just, it's very disgusting. But you know,
What's that? What's the marbles?
Yeah. What is that called?
Oh, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called now.
Fane says that's alpha as fuck. You damn right. Somebody asked me one time, how does it feel to have 3 testicles? I don't know. How does it feel to have 2, motherfucker? I've only had 3.
Feels balanced. That's what it feels like. It feels like balance.
It's extra ballast to hold you.
Brittany tipped $2. And Brittany tipped $2. She said, you guys put on a really good show today. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And it's all because of Pat. He made us good today. We normally suck.
I fanned out before the show, and then I kind of shut up, really.
Oh, we had a good guy. It was, you know, like I said, this show happens like this all the time, though. I'll have, because I did have a topic, and we just didn't go there.
I told you, I was like, oh, you thought you were gonna, I told you,
you're more interesting. You're more interesting.
Fast.
Yeah.
Shit, Pimp, we got hijacked today, and we didn't even notice it.
No, it's great. No, and, you know, as the show started, I was like, well, I want to know, you know, let's talk about him because, you know. Yeah. And it's you have some great stories, and I appreciate you coming on a lot, man.
Oh yeah,
because I'm a small timer, and you know you didn't have to.
I love it. I didn't plan anything for today. I was like, I gotta go on Pimpmunk. I gotta go Morningwood. I gotta do that. So I'm not.
Yeah, I seen that video. He was like, I don't know if I said that right.
So I didn't say that right. I don't think.
I usually make a lot of dick jokes. Well, of course.
They're the funniest.
It's the funniest. Dick jokes and fart jokes. If you can't laugh at a fart joke, you're not a human. You're not a good person.
Newton's Cradle. There you go. Tommy Gunn keeping me in line. Yes, it's Newton's Cradle. That's right. That's the marbles that click back and forth.
There you go. Well, anyways, guys, make sure you check out tomorrow's show. We have Barbara for you to see and Cap and Kirsch, 2 very hot European chicks. I mean, what can you ask? Well, they're European, they're hot, they're smart, and they like me for some ungodly reason. But Barbara's awesome. You know Barbara, right?
Tell her I said hi. Yeah, we miss her already.
See,
she's supposed to come do a collab with us.
Yeah, there you go. She's fucking great, dude. I felt so sorry for her because she stayed in a hotel with me, Billy, and Ben. And you talking about 3 farting dudes. And I'll tell the story real quick. It's already been told 100 times. But Billy was laying in the bed talking shit to me, right? Like he always does. Billy talks shit. And I just looked at him. I said, okay, Billy, I'm going to leave you with this. I farted into the air conditioner and just walked out. And I heard him when I walked out. You motherfucker. I love Billy, though. Billy's my boy.
That's the best ghosting ever.
Yes. Billy's my homie. Man, Billy and Ben, I love them fuckers to death, but I do believe they're both gay.
Well, what's better than just crop dusting one person, walking past the air conditioner and crop dusting the entire fucking room? That's what.
And I froze the motherfuckers out, too, because I turned the air conditioner down to like 60. They were like, why are you doing this? Because I want to.
It's because I'm sweating.
I'm fat and sweaty, you bitch.
I'm in Southern California. What the fuck am I here?
Yeah, but I'm so used to doing that in here because, you know, you live in Georgia, so you get it. The humidity heat is way worse.
Yeah, I'm just always condensating.
Yeah, dude. You take a shower, you walk outside, you immediately need another fucking shower. It's crazy. But anyways, dude, seriously, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and I hope to get Fane on one of these.
I know he's jealous that he didn't get to be on, so
I love it. And yeah, I told this story today. It was so funny because I seen you guys walk in and you were the only 2 I was actually going to stand up and introduce myself. And then Fane runs over to me, Pimpmunk. I was like, oh shit. So, you know, it made me feel a little good. He's awesome. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you check out tomorrow's show. Wednesday, we got Doc's Holiday on. And so check that out.
He shall write again.
He shall talks again. But anyway, see you guys later. Thanks. Bye-bye.